you don't get much badder than Jason Isaacs, from playing the evil officer alongside Mel Gibson in The Patriot to the wicked wizard Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter.
Mr. Potter. Lucius Malfoy. We meet at last. Forgive me. Your scar is legend, as of course is the wizard who gave it to you.
Voldemort killed my parents. He was nothing more than a murderer.
You must be very brave to mention his name. Or very foolish.
Well, Jason, just finished that, didn't you?
Finished on Friday. Tragically, I had to pack the wig away in a box for many a year.
Well,
it was a very sad, obviously it was very sad saying goodbye to the kids and the producers and director, but mostly saying goodbye to the wig was a heartbreaking moment.
Well, we're going to talk about, you've got so much going on, but let's stick with Harry Potter for a little bit. It was the third movie you've done. This one is Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And you created his look and everything.
Well, what happened was when I first went for number 2, they had drawings already done. And
You see, you can't say something like that in front of us.
no, I didn't say for a number 2. That would be different. No, when I first went for the Chamber of Secrets, they had salt and pepper hair was their idea, and a pinstripe suit. And I said, why? They said, well, because he's a businessman. And I said, well, 2 things. 1, I'm never going to play a wizard again the rest of my life, so please let me dress up. And 2, he hates muggles. Why would he dress like a muggle? They said, what do you want to do? And I said, I like long blonde hair. They said, what? But that would make you... I said, yeah, that would make me look like Dumbledore or another wizard. So they got this very cheap, nasty wig off the shelf and put it on, and I said, instead of pinstripe suit, could I have kind of long, flowing velvet and ermine robes? And they went, well, we don't have anything like that. And we grabbed like a velvet curtain and went down to the set to show the director, and he went, what's that? I said, well, it's my idea for Lucius Malfoy, and I thought maybe I could have a cane. He said, is there something wrong with your leg? I said, no, I thought maybe for, gesturing and pointing. And he was in the middle of a very big scene, it was all going on. He went, yes, well, all right, okay. And God love them, because that now has become what Lucius looks like. And
but also,
and they sell those. Can I just say, I fly British Airways occasionally, places, and they have a little magazine in the pocket in front, Sky Mall. It's what they sell on planes, and they have limited room in cargo, so they can only stock the essentials, cigarettes, sunglasses, alcohol, and Lucius Malfoy's cane. Yeah, I'm always reading going, I can't bloody believe it, they're still selling these things.
How fantastic.
And
how many do they carry?
No
don't
cut
get a
for
cut.
it, not
don't
a
even
thing.
get a cane of my own.
Sheesh.
I tried to nick it on Friday, but no one was having it.
But also the magical stuff as well. I think Chris Columbus, who's the director you were talking about on that sort of first movie, when you walk through the door, and said, and then you walk out and close the door.
That's right, yeah. That was my very first shot on Mania. It was with the late, lovely Richard Harris and Daniel, and I flounced out the room. Once you wear that hair, and it all becomes a little bit drag queeny, and I flounced out the room, and he said, don't forget to close the door behind you. And I said, okay, is there any way I could just wave my hand and the door shuts by magic? He went, yeah, sure. I thought, this is cool. And then I said, now where's Dobby going to be? How do I know where? Do we have a little sign or a stick? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, what height is Dobby? And I looked at the special effects people, they went, well, wherever you look, that's where Dobby's going to be. I went, okay. So then I turned around. Dobby's
little house
elf.
Yeah.
So I turned around in the very same shot, and I flicked my leg out and walked down the stairs and left the room. And Chris goes, okay, great, let's go again. You okay? Is the floor slippy? I said, no. He said, well, you did a thing with your leg? And I said, yeah, I kicked him down the stairs. He went, really? He looked at the special effects guys, he said, can we do that? And they went, yeah, sure. I thought, this is
what a great day at work.
Yeah, and it just got better.
Fantastic.
I've just been doing a wand battle with Gary Oldman for a month. Gary Oldman, possibly my favourite actor in the world. Little did I think if I ever got to work with my favourite actor, it would be dressed up as a wizard having a wand battle, but nonetheless. And we're just trying to think of new and clever ways to throw spells and use this wand in unexpected ways. It's fantastic.
Can you bounce a spell off things?
We do all kinds of things, although Gary got slightly carried away, because we get all kind of, well, how about if I do this? And there are certain limitations. Gary at some point went, how about I could run around, snap a couple of necks and stab him right through the chest with it? There's got a strange silence in the studio, and the director went, yeah, okay. Maybe later.
Why don't we do it our way?
Yeah.
And so,
we have a fantastic
you put the wig away, the cane, all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. But there are other movies. There are still other books to come.
There are. I'm not tragically in tragically for me in number 6 because I'm in prison all the way through. As anyone who's read the book will know, I'm in Azkaban.
Yes.
I'm hoping for a big bust out in number 7.
Absolutely, you have to.
I'd like to Steve McQueen it out of jail, a little motorbike and jump over the fence. But I'll be happy with the tunnel, anything. And I did meet J.K. Rowling only the once at an awards ceremony. And I went over to her and they said, on the long walk over to her in my tuxedo, I thought, just be cool. Don't beg her, you know, and don't ask her what's in the book. She's not going to tell you. It's the best kept publishing secret in the world. So I walked over and they went, Joe, this is Jason. Jason's Joe. She went, oh, hello, darling, how are you? And I went, good, get me out of prison, I'm begging you. And she laughed enigmatically, and I've no idea if it had any effect or if she just thought, get this man away from me.
You did, you're doing some, you love doing voices, because we know that you've already said that, and the Brotherhood, which is on the FX channel.
Yeah.
This is back to, you know, sort of being the baddie, the guy we expect you to be, Michael Caffey in Providence, Rhode Island, and you have to be
He's a gangster, yeah, he's a very tough guy, although the premise of the show is it's an Irish-American family in Providence, and there are 2 brothers at the heart of it. One of them is a local politician, and the other one's a local gangster, but really when you watch it, they occupy this kind of moral grey zone. Michael has a very rigid code for what he believes in. Yeah, his tools for enforcing that code are slicing people's bodies up and extreme violence. However, he's a guy you would want on your side. He cares a lot about his community and his mum and his girlfriends and stuff, and so hopefully it's one of those things that when it finishes you're not quite sure that the politician's so squeaky clean, you're not quite sure the gangster's so
What's the gangster's
so bad.
voice?
Oh, it's Providence, Rhode Island. When it's a year ago now since we were there, and I don't want to do it badly because I flatter myself I do it well. You have to watch the show.
Okay.
The state within is the thing that is gripping us all at the moment. The first episode was last Thursday, 9 o'clock, BBC One, and it's very intricate. The opening scene, this enormous plane crash, was fantastic. I sat with my boys who love all that stuff. I said, well, we're going to enjoy this. Sat down. That opening 10 minutes or so was just...
it's really like a roller coaster, isn't it?
Wow. Shot so realistically.
Well, as opposed to Harry Potter, for instance.
Here we go. Look at this. The plane's just been blown up with a bomb on board. You are driving in because you've just arrived off a flight from London. You're the ambassador in America, arriving to go back to your work.
Playing a good guy.
Oh, well, playing a good guy, but also playing the kind of guy, you know, I'm playing scared. I'm an ambassador, not a man of action, slightly pudgy around the middle, and not really used to this kind of thing.
Although you rush off to try and pull somebody out of a car, which doesn't work.
Which doesn't work. But my 4-and-a-half-year-old girl was on the set that day, and I'd asked her, I said, do you think it's okay if I asked the stunt people, have your children ever seen you in this kind of, you know, trauma? And they went, oh, yeah, it's fine. So she came, she loved it. She went back to all her friends. She went, it was great. I went to see Daddy at work. He tried to rescue a woman from a burning car, but he couldn't. It blew up and she was screaming and she died. All the other parents are slightly looking askance at me. But no, it's a fantastic story, and it's a real nail. Sorry, it sounds so croaky. I'm not very well.
Poor thing.
But it's a real roller coaster of a ride, and only when it gets to the end of the 6 hours will everybody be going, ah.
Well, the stakes couldn't be higher for him, that's for sure. And the second episode is tomorrow, isn't it? It's 9 o'clock on BBC One.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock on BBC One, and you have to... what's great about it, and what's lovely about the BBC commissioning it, is it's one of those shows that you have to engage your brain. It presumes that you have some vague knowledge of what goes on in the world, and that you've been concentrating on what went on before. You can't have a cup of tea, do the crossword, and look up and look down. It's a very intricate puzzle, but it's worth the effort.
Jason,
thank you, Jason. Thanks for coming in. I look forward to next Harry Potter as well. It sounds fantastic.
Oh, when's it out? Do we know?
It's out July the 15th. Next year, and sadly I won't be donning the wig again until about 2030. So
she'll get you out of prison.
I hope she
begging probably works.
If someone sends me her address, I'll be right outside with a...
Just book Scotland, it'll get them. Now, competition time, and how does having your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year sound? Well, Ruth